So, Avatar Distorted Reality is a really good concept where Aang is sent to a world where everything is the reverse. If you want to go see more of it, go check out my previous video on it, which will be linked down below. So, it started off as a fanfic, but it turned into a fan comic where the creator just kind of takes their favorite parts of the story and illustrates them, but it's still cool to see. And one of my favorite parts about it is that in this world, Katara is the blue spirit. So, in this version of the blue spirit story, Zuko and Aang get sick and Azula goes off to get medicine. But in the process, Azula is captured by the Water Nation, or Water Tribe, who are evil in this world, but she's rescued by the Blue Spirit, who she finds out is Katara, who's pretty much a bloodthirsty psychopath who can bloodbend without a full moon. Obviously, this shakes her up, and she makes the medicine for Aang and Zuko while thinking about it. Once she makes a tea to heal them, Azula tries to give it to Aang, and he gets confused and thinks she's his original evil Azula, yelling, "Where have you brought me, and what have you done with my friends?" Azula's kinda shocked by this, but she pushes her anger down, and still tries to give Aang the medicine. He takes it and then passes back out, and the comic ends with Azula next to Appa, thinking about the hatred in Aang's face when he looked at her. Definitely a different interpretation, but one that I think works really good. But there's another issue that's much later on when Katara confronts Aang as the Blue Spirit, and it's when the episode The Chase happens, when Azula, Tylee, and Mai were chasing Aang and everyone, but this time it's Katara, Suki, and Yue. So with everyone else dealing with Suki and Yue, Katara pulls up the deal with Aang, but when she shows up, Bro's rightfully shook because he says to himself that deep down, no matter how twisted the world was, he didn't want to believe there was one where Katara wasn't his friend. So Katara shoots some ice spikes at Aang and pins him to a tree. Man just doesn't want to hurt her, so he doesn't really do anything, and this pisses Katara off, with her asking if he's giving up because she's traveled all this way for a real fight. She gets even madder, asking if it's because she's a girl, but Katara realizes it's a waste of time and prepares to kill Aang, calling him a weakling and saying that maybe the next avatar will be more of a challenge. But that's when Katara pulls out the blue spirit mask and asks Aang if he knows why she wears the mask, and the reason she gives is actually really cool and interesting. She tells them that the women of the Water Tribe don't fight, and no matter how strong she is or how good her water bending is, that it won't change and she won't be recognized as a warrior. But by wearing the mask, it's her way of attaining freedom so that whoever she fights won't judge her because she's a woman, but just by how strong she is. And then Katara goes on saying that there's nothing she hates more than killing a strong opponent too quickly, which makes you realize that this bitch is crazy. But it goes even further with her saying, what's the point of having all this power if you don't use it? But Katara gets ready to kill Aang, calling him a bitter disappointment, and Bro is just in a daze. But at the last moment, Aang is saved by Toph. She's kinda pissed at Aang asking what he's doing, and Bro is still locked into that daze. Sokka, who had been traveling with the group, meets back up with Katara, and he decides to join his sister and starts attacking them. Aang is still completely out of it, and shit's about to go down, but Appa comes to the rescue with Azula, and the comic ends with the fight continuing in the next chapter. Definitely an interesting part of Distorted Reality. The story in its own is really unique and good, but it's moments like this that really drive it forward, especially with Katara being the blue spirit and her reason for doing so, pretty much just being the sexism of the Water Tribe, which was shown in the actual show and made its way into this fan story. But what I like most of all is Katara confronting Aang and Bro not really being able to do anything. Like, it's his girl and he loves her and Mans just doesn't want to hurt her, but at the same time, bitch is crazy and trying to kill him. Overall, it's just a goated scene that I like, but if you want to see the actual comic or fanfic, it'll be linked down below. But if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. So I've seen some comments saying that the audio is kind of terrible at some points, so I'm trying to read slower and put in that YouTube voice, but I'm also messing around with some new audio effects just to try and get the audio to sound better. So hopefully it sounds better in this video, but if you want to see more from me, go check out my other channels and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.